Hey everyone, welcome to Bellwether Fields. Today we're going to be talking about how tiny living can help you unlock your potential. Today we hope you'll see some ways that you can discover your purpose and bliss through living small.
Welcome back. For all of you new people, hello, welcome. We're so pleased that you've joined us. For those who don't know us, we are Gabe and Christina, and we are living tiny in the Washington, D.C. area, which is, super small and 186 square feet and actually super expensive based on most of the comments that you guys have put down. We really appreciate those. So that we can follow our passion, which is restoring a late 1700s old log cabin. So we're doing that outside of the DC area, about 3 hours away, also in Virginia. But before we found our passion project, we just started with tiny living. And so based on the 6 years that we've been living tiny, we've been able to really focus ourselves and move in a direction that has made us really, really happy. So today we're gonna share with you kind of like the ways that got started and how you could kind of do that for yourself if you wanted to, based on tiny living.
This all started 5 years ago. We were two young people in love. We had met, we had romanced, and now it was time to combine our households. And she was living tiny in 510 square feet. I had a 1,000 square foot apartment, and it was in Maryland. She wasn't gonna move from Virginia to Maryland. It's a weird river thing. So I was gonna move in with her, and I had 1,000 square feet worth of stuff. So this became tangible when we first started clearing out my things and we went into my closet. I'm a dude who doesn't care much about clothes. I'll wear the same thing over and over again. It doesn't really matter much to me. I have like a handful of things that I like to wear. In my closet, we cleared out in a couple hours 30 trash bags worth of clothes to donate. 30 trash bags. Big trash bags. I looked at these and I thought, why do I have these? It turned out I had taken a completely unconscious approach to how I was accumulating my things. I would keep things because I might fit into them again in a couple years, or just because it was a t-shirt that I liked at one point. I don't know. I had my football jerseys from high school. Like, why am I keeping that? And that line of thinking applied to every other part of the things that I had in my apartment. It applied to the things I kept in the kitchen. I really only used a handful of things. I used maybe like 1 or 2 kitchen knives, but I had 5. I had gadgets that I hadn't used in years. I had books that I had already read and was just keeping to keep them. I wasn't going to read them again. So I went from like 600 to 800 books to 12. And do I miss any of those books? Not at all. Do I miss any of the cords, like the big box of unused cords that went back 10 years? Have I used any of that? No. I haven't used any of this stuff. I haven't missed it, except for like maybe 1 or 2 things. And those things were in like the $20 to $40 category, so I just bought them again. That's not a big deal. But virtually like 99.9% of the things that I had that I got rid of, I do not miss. And I've taken a much more conscious approach to how I treat my things and how I go into decision making about buying things. It's completely different now.
The first step of tiny living is really to look at the tangible items, your things. And it causes you to realize that maybe you don't know why you have so many things, or maybe you don't understand like why you're keeping so many things. And it just makes you ask the question, like, why is this here? And that really gets the ball rolling. So looking at your things is the first step in tiny living. You need to pare them down so you can actually live in a smaller space. And that really starts the process of finding out what really you're passionate about and what your purpose is.
It's basically examining your life and trying to figure out what's important to you and what's not important to you.
Yes, but first, you just look at the stuff.
Just look at the things.
Yeah. So the next thing after looking at your things is to look at your money. So unless you are someone who has a very generous family and friends who just give you stuff all the time, most of the stuff in your house are things that you bought. And maybe, like, you don't know why those things were there when you're cleaning out your closets or cleaning out your home to downsize in a tinier space. Maybe you don't realize all the things that you're buying. So it's time to look at your debts. It's time to look at the credit cards. Maybe there are memberships or subscriptions that you don't even realize are there. Someone was talking the other day and telling me that they had subscribed to the same newspaper twice from 2 different email accounts, so they could save themselves money just from, canceling one of those subscriptions. You don't need 2 subscriptions of the same newspaper. So just like your things, I don't want this to get overwhelming, because sometimes, just things are overwhelming and then money is overwhelming. But this is a slow process. You just look at the finances and all of your spending, like you look at the stuff. So as you evaluated that book and you decided you didn't want it, you evaluate each of your spending habits and you decide whether you want to continue purchasing those things or not. Now, if you were going to Target and spending a lot of money there and bringing stuff into your house, probably that's going to need to stop, because you have a tinier space now and you are not bringing things into your house anymore unless you really, really enjoy them. So the next step is really looking at your finances.
I think money is kind of an emotionally charged topic, and just relax. Just take it at your own pace. Just try to approach it and think about what's the low-hanging fruit that you can take out of your budget. This is something that you're going to do over and over. I've revisited this over and over and over again. And every time I go through it, I see something else that I could live without. So just take it easy. Just get started on it. It's just get the process going, and then you'll come back to it and you'll be better at it.
You can do it in small chunks, right? So you can do the things first and get rid of a few things, and then you can do some of the finances and get rid of a few of the things in the finances. And then we'll go through the multiple steps that we did. And you can do it in layers, and it's a repeatable process, so you can do it over and over again at your own pace. We have done it 3 times just for tiny living. So we downsized into 510 square feet, and Gabe was living in 1,000 square feet when he moved into 510 square feet with me. And before I moved into 510 square feet by myself, I downsized 2,500 square feet into 510. And so going from 2,500 square feet into 500 square feet, I got rid of a lot of stuff, really almost everything. And so I was feeling at that time like 510 is really good, and like I probably can't get rid of any more. But as we lived together, we realized that we could just repeat these steps, and we were able to go from 510 square feet to 260 square feet, so even less stuff. And then shortly after that, we were able to pare down even more. And now we live in 186 square feet, which is super, super small. And it's great. And so we were able to repeat the process over and over and over again for our things, and then also for our finances.
So far, you've minimized your things, and then you've gone in and you've minimized your expenses. The next logical step, the third step, is to take a look at your career and take a look at how you spend a lot of your time, which is on your job. And maybe up to this point, because of the inflation in your lifestyle, you felt the need to corral yourself into a job that you don't really like all that much because it pays the bills. Well, now your bills are a fraction of what they used to be. So maybe this can get you thinking about what you really want to do as your next step in your career. So for example, for me, this took my business from like a relatively inflated place where I was trying to work in a high traffic, high cost area in DC, where I was going to earn a lot, but it was going to cost me a lot to do that. And I developed a clientele through this, and I did fairly well, but I mean, it was limited. I hit a ceiling because my expenses were so big. So not having to worry as much about making all the money, I was able to take my business and move it to just up the road from my house, and was going to earn less, but my expenses were a fraction of what they used to be. But I wouldn't have even considered that move if I hadn't made it more safe to do so from, working with my money.
So we're not talking about once you look through your things and like once you look through your finances, like going into your job and being like, I quit. Although you might want to do that depending on what your job is. But really, it just could be looking at your job a different way. I mean, maybe you have the freedom now because you have smaller expenses and a smaller house to take care of, that you want to push for telework, or you want to push for different working hours, or you want to push for only working 4 days a week. Or maybe you feel confident that, this time you can ask for a raise and just be like, I work very hard and I need a raise. And before, maybe you were fearful that they wouldn't give you one and like you really just need this job. But if you get freed up with your things and you get freed up with your finances and you kind of know what you're spending your money on and know what is valuable to you, maybe you want to go in and say, look, like on Fridays, like I want to volunteer at this local shelter. So like I'm not coming in on Fridays anymore. How can we work this out? right? And it gives you a lot of confidence and a lot of freedom to do that, to make those changes. Or you can feel confident to go in and just quit, find another job somewhere.
Or maybe you just want to reverse the lifestyle creep that a lot of people go through, which is that they work a job and then they move a little bit further away from their job to get a bigger place, and then they move even further away from their job to get an even bigger place. You could do that in reverse. Maybe this affords you the opportunity to keep the job that you have that you like, and you can move into something much smaller that is much closer, and your quality of life goes through the roof because you're not doing all the commuting, you're not spending all the money on the commuting, the time. I mean, it's all a big deal.
Yeah, I think that especially in our area here in DC, I mean, the average commute is 45 minutes. Our commutes, he can walk to work in, 25 minutes. And then, my ride to work is probably, 20 minutes. So that's really, really small. It increases our quality of life, and we would not want to live any further away from our jobs because we just don't want to spend all our time in the car.
And away from each other.
That too. So the next step for us, and I think for a lot of people, is then thinking about your health, right? So you really can't enjoy this new lifestyle that you've created and maybe the career changes that you've made if you aren't feeling 100%. And for this area, we tackled career first because career is a big factor that affects most people's health here. So again, we talked about the big commute, but also it's a really highly competitive and very stressful area. So it's very difficult to tackle your health until you are in a good position with your career. And, again, these things can be, repeatable processes. You make a little bit of headway on your career, then you can make a little bit of headway on health, and then you can go back and, kind of go back and forth. The next question is really, do I need to work out at a gym, or have I afforded myself more time and I can just go for a walk? Is that better for me? So again, it's that feeling of autopilot. Am I just going to the gym because people say that we have to have a gym membership, or can I ride my bike to work, or ride my bike on the weekends, or walk more, or just get outside and go for a nice hike? There's some beautiful hiking trails all around the DC area, and it's very hard for people to get a chance to use them because we're always working. So if you can recraft how your career is going and you've got your finances under control and you have your things pared down, you don't have as much stuff to maintain. And so you can get outside and do some other things with regards to your health. That goes also for your eating. So maybe because you work 12 hours a day, and that's really the standard work day for people in this area, you were buying lunch out a lot. So, not exactly the healthiest choice, right? Depending on where you're going, but it is a really big time saver, right? So you don't have to worry about food and you could just rush out to get something. Well, now that you have more time, and again, thinking about your choices, maybe you can make food at home and bring that for your lunch, or maybe you'll be cooking more dinners at home, or maybe you'll be, getting up in the morning and having some time for meditation and relaxing before you go to work. So it's really, mind, body, spirit, thinking about your health, thinking about health practices that fit you and that would feel good to you to incorporate in your life now that you have streamlined your things, right? So less to take care of, less to clean, less to maintain your finances. So less money going out, hopefully debt getting paid off or already paid off. So less worry there. Your career, getting what you want at work, whether that be more money, more time off, flexible schedule, different location, better commute. And then now you can think about your health.
So the tie-ins with your finances are literal in that, you can spend less on groceries and you can eat healthier in the process of doing so. But it's also the mindset of it, which is, it's almost like you take the investment mindset and transfer that into your health. Health is kind of wealth, and you do need to invest in it with your time and effort. And having that process together with your finances is very helpful. And this brings us to our last category for today, which is your future. It is designing your future self more clearly. All this efficiency in tailoring your life turns into a lot of thinking about your future self and what you actually want to do. So when you're thinking about your future plans and your future self, like the stuff, like the clothes that I had in my closet that I was just on autopilot, maybe you realize that you were on autopilot and going through the common life track that seems to be set out for you, and maybe that's not what you want. Maybe it is what you want. You don't have to coast on this track. You can take charge of it yourself, and you can have autonomy, and you can have agency, and those two things are really, really important. You can take control of this. You just have to think about it, and you have to know yourself, and you have to be in a position to follow what you want. And tiny living and minimalism, all these things help you get there.
So really, you're customizing your own life. So when we started with the things, you're taking things out that don't serve you, right? So a lot of people really love Marie Kondo and, the idea of sparking joy, but really, you're eliminating things from your life that don't serve you, that don't make you happy. And then you're looking at your budget and you're eliminating things there that don't serve you and don't make you happy, right? And then you're looking at your career and maybe it's like a lot of time away from your family and that's not serving you and making you happy. So you make the changes there. Right? And then about your health, like maybe you're not waking up and feeling good, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not eating as well as you would like to, or you would want to. And so you eliminate, all of the barriers there and you find a way to make yourself happy. And then with all of those tools in your tool belt, you really can see the future that you want kind of laid out before you. And so that's really what's happened with us. We were able to make all of these choices and then we were able to take on, this huge log cabin project, which tiny living made possible. We were not going to be able to do this without living tiny and kind of rethinking our choices. And honestly, it is a huge passion for us. We really, really enjoy it. And I don't think we would have even discovered that passion, right? If we were just kind of buying things, living kind of a normal autopilot American lifestyle. Like I think that is totally something that happens to people. It's just, ask yourself those questions and like go through this process. And if you repeat these like 5 steps over and over again, thinking about your things, then your money, then your career, then your health, and then your future, you are definitely going to discover your purpose and discover what makes you happy and just live a much more happy and fulfilled life.
The tiny living aspect of everything that we've talked about really unlocked this future life that we didn't even know about with this, log cabin passion, and our life just took a fork in a completely different direction that is so positive and so satisfying and so meaningful. I can't imagine not having done it. So this is absolutely available for you too, whatever version that is for you.
Let us know what you think. Give us a like, subscribe to our channel if you want to keep on following us with this journey, and leave some comments down below. We love to hear from you. We've been getting some amazing comments about our tiny space and the way we live tiny. I would love to just chat with you and get to know you and share kind of like your thoughts with you. So leave some comments below.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye guys.